All right, it's been a couple weeks. We've had some stuff come up, but we're back. Pete Traina joining me at halftime of this Thursday night football game, Ravens Dolphins, that everybody expected the Ravens to be running away with, but it's a gross one. Pete, what's going on?
It's a freaking snooze fest over here, man. Not too much, man. I've been, been missing this, but I'm happy to be back and I'm excited. And I think we got 5 winners for the crew.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's get right into it. First game that we have here, Jacksonville Jaguars, the hot Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't let the Jaguars get hot, is what the people have said. Jags at Colts. What do we think about this one?
I'm gonna do my Shad Khan mustache here real quick. Um, so we got Wentz is kind of a wild card, right? He's mostly played well, besides a couple of terrible throws that everybody pretty much replays in their minds. But Michael Pittman Jr. is a problem. Jonathan Taylor is a problem, and Hakeem Hines. I mean, him and Taylor is an elite backfield. The Colts offensive line are getting healthy now. I like the Colts offense. The Jags, they're probably feeling themselves a bit coming off a huge win, which they shut down, a potential Super Bowl favorite, at least prior to last week. Combined, these teams give up 50 points per game. They both rank at the bottom third in pass defense, and both defenses are better against the rush. I think they're ranking the top 15 in that stat. Which leads to a game state that favors an over. The Jets, Anthony, I love you. I love the Jets. Their third string quarterback was able to score on the Colts pretty easily, and it wasn't just garbage. It was garbage time. I mean, he was able to go up and down the field pretty good. So it's in a dome. I'm all about this over 47.5. Final score 28-21 Colts. What do you think?
I think the Colts are a good team that'll roll a little bit, and I think garbage time will help the Jags. I don't know if it'll end up being a real close game, but I think the Jags will do enough late to get the over to hit.
Yeah, Lawrence has been sneaky okay. Not
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Well, nobody's great with Urban at the helm. No, but I think that Indy probably gets out to an early lead on the back of Taylor and Pittman. I love both of them. And garbage time matters for these. So I think Jacksonville can do enough down the stretch to make the game look closer than it did initially and get the over to hit.
Great.
All right, Cleveland at New England.
All right, this is another overlook, which is probably not going to be popular. The Baker Revenge Tour keeps rolling on into Foxborough here. They got probably one of the more important and exciting games of the week in terms of playoff implications. I feel like it's not going to be popular play, but the line has actually moved with me. I think it was 44.5 at the open. Now it's 46 in some books. Most people are going to have the desire to play under here, and that's fair. I understand that. Two teams, they love to run the ball. They like to play slow. They both are above average defenses. The Browns rank third in rush yards per game, and New England ranks 14th. I still think total is a bit too low. The Browns, for some reason, I hate to go with the narrative, they play better without OBJ. I don't know why. It's just true. I think this team they're ready to show out and score some points. I just need one team to score into the high 20s. So the line is tight, and I think it's going to be a close, competitive game. I could even see this game going into overtime, so getting me that cheap cover. I'm taking over 45, and I like it 25-24 Browns.
Yeah, I like the under. I do. I think this one's going to be gross. I think it's not gross in like a disappointing way. I can just see a lot of defense and a lot of running the ball, and it being probably like a more compelling game to watch than like the stats or the end box score shows. But you're right. You only need one team to get into the high 20s to make it work. So I would probably lean on the side of the under, but I don't hate the reasoning at all. Like there's definitely a scenario where the over is in play.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally fair. The under, like I said, two teams who want to run the ball, they want to establish a run, they're good defenses. So I could see this going under too, but my numbers cranked out. Well, I think 49. And I agree with that too. So
I can't wait to talk about this next one. New Orleans Saints at the Tennessee Titans.
Anthony, this is a trap game right here, right? Vegas knows.
Vegas knows.
So the Saints are obviously without their starting quarterback and possibly Kamara, which hurts a lot in terms of my fantasy teams. And the Titans are just beating the crap out of everybody, apparently, without Derrick Henry. The Titans have beat Kansas City, they beat Buffalo, and they beat the Rams. There's no denying that something is there, right? With that being said, the Titans are overvalued here. I think they're overvalued by the betting public. And honestly, this line, I think it's 2.5 now. That seems like, oh, this is a trap. This should be like 7, whatever. The way that they won last week against the Rams, it's not sustainable. They had a couple gift turnovers from Stafford, and they didn't. I think Tannehill only had like 100 some yards offense. The Saints are an elite defense, and they do have the pieces to shut down this offense. I could see Lattimore completely shutting down AJ Brown, which, despite what everybody else thinks, I think he's the key cog in this offense. They do not perform the same when he was out. I think he was injured the first couple of games, and they weren't as good. My logic here is that the Saints are coached well. They can scheme with Simeon and Hill. I also don't think the Titans defense is that good, as good as they're advertised. I only power rank these teams less than a half a point apart. So I saw the number was 2.5. Whenever it's less than 3, I'll take the money line. So I think this is the perfect sell high spot for the Titans. I don't think the Titans are bad. I could see them having a little bit of a down performance. I'm on the Saints money line, 24-22 Saints.
It's bold, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it because it feels like a game where Sean Payton kind of reminds everybody, like, hey, I was Sean McVay before Sean McVay. Like,
exactly.
I was the smartest guy in the room before everybody else got to the room. So I could definitely, like you said, see him scheming up some wild stuff with Simeon and Taysom Hill's out there. And just, I trust Peyton as a play caller and as someone to scheme an offense to kind of mask deficiencies. Like we saw it even when Winston was out there. Like there was how many games where it's like, okay, the passing yardage was super low, but he's throwing 3, 4, 5 touchdowns at a clip. Like I believe in them to scheme that offense. It hurts if, Kamara can't go, but Ingram's back in town, but you get the Adrian Peterson revenge game, right? Adrian Peterson, fresh with the Titans, gets his revenge on his former team, the New Orleans Saints.
I would actually argue that the more that they give Adrian Peterson the ball, the more it favors the Saints.
Yeah.
Please give him 15 touches for 20 yards.
Yeah. I think it's probably the most people will probably say it's the most bold one out of these 5, but I don't hate it at all. All right, Carolina, Arizona. Seems like we won't get Cam. We'll get PJ Tucker season for at least a week. It'll be short-lived, but
this might be the most bold one of the week. I don't know. This is PJ Walker versus Colt McCoy, possibly. I didn't want to bet this game simply because I don't want to watch this game. But here we are. I think much like the Titans, I think this is a good sell high spot with Arizona. Again, much like the Titans last week, the way that they won with Colt McCoy is not sustainable. His EPA was not great. Even if Kyler Murray's back, he's not 100%, and Hopkins not 100%. Captain America, J.J. Watt, not there. The Panthers, they have addition by subtraction with Sam Darnold going on IR. I hate to say it. I used to love Sam, but he's just terrible. PJ Walker is what he is, but he's mobile. We were talking about earlier. He's mobile. He's got a decent arm. There's not a lot of tape on him. I think that they could do some things with CMC and those plethora of wide receivers that they have. They can get something going that. Listen, they're not going to win this game, but 10.5 points is a lot of points. And if Kyler Murray is not playing, I love this even more. But I still love this without Kyler Murray. So I'm seeing 24, 2018 Cardinals. Give me the dog. 10.5 points is a lot in the NFL, man.
I think that is hitting the nail on the head, right? 10.5 points is a lot of points for, I know Arizona is good, but just like we said about the Jacksonville Colts game, like the end game matters, garbage time matters.
Certainly
And
does.
I do think that, not to pile on Sam, I'm sorry that it didn't work out. I'll miss you forever, but you know, see what the Panthers can cook up without him. He has not been good. So maybe something fresh gets them going a little bit. But yeah, I agree with you. 10.5 points it's a lot of points. And let's wrap things up. Kansas City Chiefs. We got a division game here. Kansas City Chiefs and the Raiders.
Anthony, I have an addiction
To the Chiefs?
To the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. They've been my one weakness this season. It's my belief in the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I've probably lost more money on this team than any team this year. And I cannot accept that this team is bad. Yes, their defense is suspect, but they're getting healthier. Maybe they could hide Sorensen somewhere. I don't know. Put him and give him some water bottles to hand out. But KC has absolutely owned the Raiders, especially last year. A lot of the pundits are saying the book is out on Mahomes. You play cover two. We were talking about it before the stream. You got the two high safeties, force Mahomes to check down or run the ball. Andy Reid hates running the ball. He would rather die. The problem is that the Raiders don't use cover two. Gus Bradley is notoriously, he uses cover three and cover one. I think I was listening to somebody else. He said like he's on 100 snaps. I forgot what the number was. Basically, they've only used cover two in like 12 snaps, which is obviously not a lot. Mm-hmm. The only thing I am worried about is that the Raiders can generate the rush, good pass rush without blitzing. With that being said, I'm going to stick with my numbers here, and I'm taking the Chiefs 2.5. I think this is, maybe they'll start to come back to life here. I'm seeing a final score of 28-24. Please don't take any more of my money and just win this freaking game.
Just bet the Chiefs every week for the rest of the season and see where it ends up. Yeah, it's fair. It's still like such a cop-out answer all the time. Like they're due or like it's a get-right spot. But I don't think Mahomes is all of a sudden bad. And I think defensive scheme-wise, you make a great point. Like they don't seem like they'll play a lot of that too high look. If they're smart, maybe they'll try it. But coaches are stubborn and tend to stick with their scheme and think that they know best. So I think Kansas City can kind of get back on the right side of things. In a tight division game here, I think that 2.5 is about right. I could see them winning, a close one, but I'll take the Chiefs. So halftime's about to be up. So real quick, we got the over 47.5 in Jaguars Colts, over 45 in Browns Pats, Saints money line, Panthers plus 10.5, Chiefs minus 2.5. Pete, I appreciate you for joining us.
Anthony, thanks for having me. And wow, this is perfect timing. We're kicking off right now. Look at that.
Let's do it, baby. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, and take care.